would actually help if I turned on my microphone. Anyways, let's go ahead and break this down again. Hello everyone and welcome to a game, Moon versus Sock. This game taking place here on Twisted Meadows. Moon spawning on the bottom left hand side of the map as the blue Night Elf player. Meanwhile, on the top right hand side of the map, we have Sock spawning as the yellow human. Human versus, Night Elf in this 1v1 matchup, full cross spawns on, one of Moon's favorite maps, I believe, Twisted Meadows, a map with so many expansion possibilities that games can often go very long. I believe there was a match between Moon and Grubby during the 2000 and this was before StarCraft 2, so 2009 or 2008 BlizzCon, and the game went so long while I was watching it that they ended up not being able to play StarCraft Brood War, and like the fans were just upset while I got to watch Moon and Grubby go at it. It was an absolute blast to watch them play. Anyways, Moon opting to go for a Warden in this matchup. The Warden, has been a very powerful hero in years past, especially on maps like Terranus Stand, where there's narrow walkways, being able to blink across that river. All of that is very powerful. Now, with that said, though, Twisted Meadows is not Terranus Stand by any stretch of the imagination. There's very large walkways, and with those very large walkways, Blink is not nearly as effective. And as I say that, Moon will probably just blow my mind here and figure out new ways to use Blink here on Twisted Meadows as the game is getting underway. Archmage going to go ahead, make its way out, perhaps try and clear out some of these rock golem creep camps, going first after that forest troll high priest. Anytime you're able to take out the healer while the rest of the creeps are away, that is going to be a very big benefit. All right, looks like that wisp is trying to detonate on that water elemental or on that archmage, but no detonation actually landed. All right, one more detonation. Nope, Moon, building into an Ancient of Wonders and then canceling it right there. Beautiful use, just trying to buy a little bit of additional scouting time as the rock golem falls and gives level 2 to that archmage. Gonna go ahead and pick up a couple of additional strength items as the Warden now comes across here. Is he gonna go for Fan of Knives, takes down a peasant and racks up a little bit of damage, now looking to back away again. That Slippers of Agility does help a little bit. There goes an ensnare, more ensnares being placed down as the forest troll trappers are still racking up damage. Warden has been unable to really get within that range there. There's a Shadow Strike to finish off, deny a little bit of experience, and now that Warden will be backing away. Sock, with a couple of scout farms, will be able to keep track of, all of the units that Moon will be training up here, except for the units that are coming out from this Ancient of War, since it's already beyond the wall. Meanwhile, the Warden now gets up to level 2. What is he going to try and do here? Perhaps try and take down this peasant that's already all the way in the far back, getting a little bit of damage. Doesn't have a Staff of Teleportation. Where is this Warden trying to run off to? Down to 108 hit points, still taking quite a bit of fireballs, and still just pretty much running for the hills. Down to 54 damage, down to 37, but that additional regeneration while at night really working out well. Boots of Speed, maybe purchase Staff of Teleportation, going to try and run away, and we'll be able to dodge that fireball there, now back at home. Coming back around, didn't skill her stat points. Nope, hasn't skilled that second stat point yet, hasn't used Blink, really waiting to see what Moon tries to do overall here, as this Ancient of War is going to be absorbing quite a bit of damage. No Forest Troll Shadow Priest, just the Forest Troll Berserker to try and increase the damage output here. A little bit of repairs going on as the Warden gonna get closer to level 3. Off to the north side here, we're looking at Sock, looking to perhaps clear out this Ogre Magi creep camp. No tech to tier 2, indicating that we should be looking at a fast expansion attempt. Now, Moon is already halfway to tier 2 here, so we could be looking at a follow-up hero, or perhaps just that bonus experience that Warden really benefits from. Just interesting also to see the amount of scout farms Sock has placed all over the place just to keep track of his opponent. I believe Sock is going to set up another farm out here And this does make it look like it's very sparse inside the main base. But if you take a look at the mini map, he just pretty much has information every or knows everything everywhere all at once. Coming back around, some piercing damage to try and take down the farms. And this is an old strategy by human players against Night Elf. Normally, early on in the game, Night Elf players only has access to piercing damage and heroic damage. Fortified armor buildings, therefore, can absorb a lot of that damage without very much concern. All right, what's going to happen here is the Warden going to try to perhaps land a little bit more damage. Yes, get the Shadow Strike onto that footman here. We do see an Arcane Tower, one or two more bits of damage, and it ends up getting denied. Beautifully done, denying that level 3 or a little bit more experience to try and get to level 3. Anyways, back about the farms. Those farms are just very difficult to take out unless you plant a tree of or an ancient of wonders or some sort of ancient next to the buildings, just like this ancient of war, to try and take down that building here. Archmage looking to retreat back up to 650 hit points. Hello. Hello, Ludora. How are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Coming back around, we do see a Tree of Life being built in a non-standard position by Moon here, outside of the view of this scout farm here at that 6 o'clock spot. Meanwhile, Warden trying to rack up some more damage, perhaps going to try and take down this water elemental. It should be able to take it down. Oh, who gets the final shot off there? Level 3 now on that Warden. Warden getting enough experience, double slippers of agility, leaving behind a cloak of shadows. Going to get 150 shadow strike onto the Archmage. The Archmage really benefiting from that Belt of Giant Strength and that Tome of Strength from earlier, as the Archmage now teleports to, well, this northern position. A little bit low on lumber, but other than that, looking fairly strong. Panda as a follow-up hero, so it is now a level 1 Panda. Breath of Fire could go down across all of these footmen just to try to rack up a little bit of damage here. Not quite sure. No, Drunken Haze first. So Drunken Haze as that first ability over Breath of Fire. That's usually a little bit more damage mitigation, as the Warden now going to perhaps try and regroup with everything else. Warden tries to double back in front of the Archmage. Archmage realizes the Warden has double backed around and, well, double backed much earlier, as the Panda now still going after these units perhaps to try and get in a little bit of damage. All right, off to the races. All these units are just in crazy walking scenarios. Ancient of War about to take down another farm, and slowly perhaps supply blocking Sock. All of that scouting information has been useful, as we see a quick detonation there, and now a Shadow Strike. Archmage trying to get away from a low hit point Archmage, trying to get away from the Warden. Warden does have enough for another Shadow Strike here. Are we going to see a Shadow Strike? Yes, we do, but it does not land, burning that mana for no real benefit at all. That Archmage, well, dodging or seeing his life flash before his eyes right there. I believe the Archmage didn't. Yeah, the Archmage did not get that last Shadow Strike. Has about 200 hit points left there, so 195 and still counting up. All right, Wisp about to get, well, detonated, as the Archmage could drop some more water elementals and tries to clear out some more creep camps. Down to the south side, Tree of Life absorbing all of that damage, as the Brewmaster alongside some Dryads now looking to clear out this creep camp in the southern spot. Warden, well, has a potion of invisibility already used and is looking now. Oh, we could have a surprise Shadow Strike onto that unit there. Warden now just trying to stay nearby, unable to catch up to that Goblin Zeppelin, cannot attack it. What is this Zeppelin going to do? A surprise attack, not going to be much of a surprise at all, as the Zeppelin now heads back down to the south side, perhaps going to try and drop along this back position here or on this entangling gold mine. Goblin Zeppelin now making its way back down. Here we are. Here's the drop. Warden is in position. What is it going to try and do here? Is it going to try and land a Shadow Strike? That is the question here. Trying to whack up a little bit of damage. Are we going to see no Shadow Strike either? All right, so just on the high ground here, I don't believe I see an Ancient of Wind yet. No, there is an Ancient of Wind trying to train up a Hippogriff to stop this Goblin Zeppelin play, as we are about to hit the 10-minute mark of this game. This Ancient of War has walked around and then just knocked over a bunch of farms, but there are still farms all over the place, as Sock is looking to set up perhaps a third base. Subscribe to Crota War 3 for more Brood Wars. Wait, what? subbed. I watch every video. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Entangling about to get done here. Hippogriff now trying to poke down that Zeppelin. Zeppelin down to 415 hit points, taking quite a bit of damage, dropping some additional water elementals. The Forest Troll Berserkers will be able to keep that Hippogriff at bay, so to speak, as the Dryads are now showing up to the party as well. Hippogriff could try and chase after this Zeppelin. Zeppelin does hold a couple of water elemental, that Forest Troll Berserker, and that Archmage, which will easily shoo away that Hippogriff there. All right, how much damage can get racked up here? Hippogriff looks like it will get taken down. It gets shot down out of the sky. All right. I don't remember the last time I cast Brood War, to be honest. Anyways, sorry. Hitting the microphone. Coming back around. Goblin Zeppelin once again going to try and put pressure on this expansion here. Staff of Teleportation perhaps inbound. A Warden going to show up to the party. Scroll of Town Portal trying to retreat back out. Shadow Strike onto the Forest Troll Berserker. There are some quick repairs as that will get, well, healed up nicely. Meanwhile, Sock is running up on this southern base as well as the Mountain King out here out on the battlefield looking to get a bit of additional creeping in and perhaps trying to get to level 2. All right, one footman gets taken out, so Sock, perhaps a little bit of sleep at the wheel there, could have saved that one footman, and now perhaps going to use that Scroll of Regeneration to try and heal up. We are teching straight to Tier 3. We do already have dual workshops as well. Knights may be added in, so it may just be Knights and Mortar teams, as we could get an Arcane Sanctum or two just for a bit of passive healing. All right, Mountain King, with that Belt of Giant Strength, dealing quite a bit of bonus damage. Archmage does have a Staff of Sanctuary as well, as we are already finished at Castle. Siege Engine is going to be the strategy by Sock, so just kill them with Economy and Mech. Seems like the human players are, well, Sock trying to take a play out of the StarCraft playbook by going mech with human here, as we're looking at items being dropped around once more. Dryad's going to come in from the back here, do a little bit of poking. What item was picked up here? Not quite sure. Staff of Sanctuary saving a unit there. Double level up, level 4, level 2. As we're looking at the units now trying to back away again. Are we going to see some more damage go down onto some of these low hit point units? Both footmen, well, one footman ends up getting denied. The other gets teleported away. No focus fire there, as the Warden going to pick up that Manual of Health. Why not go for the Tree of Life, since the gold mine repair is free? Well, the Tree of Life, I believe, has higher armor overall and has higher hit points. So it's much more difficult to stop the Tree of Life than it is to stop the Entangled Gold Mine. Meanwhile, back across in the center here, there's a reveal. Paladin out here on the battlefield. Shadow Strike, Holy Light, going to try and save there. Warden could be in a lot of trouble. That Potion of Invulnerability will not last forever. Staff of Sanctuary does save that unit here. Meanwhile, the Warden still dancing back around. There's a beautiful Stormbolt onto that Forest Troll Berserker, and that will get finished off too. 79 supply compared to 51. I do not believe Moon realizes how far behind he is economically, with just the sheer number of bases by Sock. Also establishing this 3 o'clock expansion has given quite the number of units out here. Breath of Fire sitting at level 2. That will be able to blow over many of these siege engines, as well. Piercing damage and magic damage, or piercing damage and heroic damage, not going to be really enough to take down these siege engines normally. Really, it was just a lot of Breath of Fire that is bringing the siege engine and allowing it to get taken down quickly. All right, Hippogriff keeping track here. We can see Siege Engine attempting to take down this Entangled Gold Mine. Bunch of repairs underway. Is this Tree of Life going to get in a couple of attacks? Yes, it is. And we do see Nature's Blessing as well, so a little bit faster movement speed, but the Siege Engine will just roll on out. Panda looking to clear out some more creep camps here. May get up to, well, already at level 4. Warden needs to get up to level 4. Going to pick up a Crystal Orb, as we see a Staff of Preservation to bring back that Warden back home and perhaps try and deal with these siege engines. 3 siege engines rolling on in. All right. Druids of the Talon coming across here. What is going down? They're trying to blow over some of these Moonwells, and it's buying time for the Paladin to get to the level 2 as he picks up an Orb of Darkness. One Moonwell now taken down. Additional Moonwells could get cleaned up here. One final shot there. Still level 3 onto that Warden, getting that much closer to level 4. A Breath of Fire could actually, blows over some damage on both of those units as they are now attempting to retreat back. 81 supply over 100. We can see Sock now going into high upkeep. Not necessarily a beneficial thing as he's now falling behind in terms of overall gold. Meanwhile, Stormbolt straight up onto the Panda. Panda now trying to get away from all of those Spellbreakers. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire across all the units. Bears trying to engage against the Spellbreakers as we see Holy Light coming across. Paladin still trying to fight here. Perhaps we're going to see some more Staff of Sanctuaries. Yes, we are, as the Dryads are now poking apart some of these footmen and then forcing them to get taken down as well. Rejuvenation needed on that Brewmaster. Come on, Druid of the Claw. Waiting for it as we see another expansion about to get constructed here. All right. Meanwhile, off to the north, a siege engine now backing away, entangling the gold mine off in the northern position. Moon is getting out expanded here on Twisted Meadows, something that I did not imagine happening at the start of this game. All right, so it is Shadow Strike and Blink. Hasn't gone for Fan of Knives as of yet and has an unused skill point on that Warden. Overall, those items are actually very, very weak here. We're looking at some more Abolish Magic, and that is just going to continue to funnel more experience to this Panda. Panda now getting close to level 5 with that level 3 Breath of Fire could cause some major, major problems. Warden now perhaps going to try and catch up. No, will not be able to do that there. Staff of Sanctuary will keep that Forest Troll Berserker alive, even with the ticking damage from that level 2 Shadow Strike. It's not going to be enough. All right, and down to the south side here, Breath of Fire across the Siege Engine. Siege Engines now with 2/2 upgrades, getting that plating armor upgrades, and now benefiting those knights as well. Archmage sitting at level 4, Mountain King sitting at 3. Where is Paladin bringing up the rear, sitting at level 2, having plenty of healing items, but those scrolls of healing do not help those siege engines. And well, maybe that Breath of Fire will be able to heal up, or Breath of Fire damage will get mitigated off of those knights. Meanwhile, Archmage going to show up and get surrounded by a bunch of units here. We're going to see a quick departure, and Dust of Appearance now dropped and left behind as there just wasn't enough items here. All right, a Shadow Strike going onto the Forest Troll Berserker. Forest Troll Berserker taking quite a bit of damage, trying to retreat back away. Are we going to see another Shadow Strike as well? Down to dead as that Warden tries to get up to level 5. Moonwells need to top off all of this again, selling a couple of items, going to pick things back up and then move on out once more as farms are just getting cleared out everywhere here on Twisted Meadows. All right, we're still looking at 3 operational bases, 3.5 minutes of mining left here. Meanwhile, about 3 minutes of mining left here for Moon as well. Both sides are going to try and engage. Stormbolt onto a Druid of the Claw. A bunch of healing. Mountain King. Mortar Team's going to try and find those Dryads, but those Dryads are able to dive on into those mortars pretty quickly. All right, trying to finish them off. Archmage trying to continue to shoot as we see Shadow Strikes now going down onto the Mortar Teams as well. Mortar Teams, strong counter against those Dryads, but they do move very, very slowly. Another Staff of Sanctuary right there as the Warden perhaps going to try and chase after that Archmage. Level 2 Blink, but not really using it that heavily as the units are now trying to retreat back again. Where's that Warden going? Warden perhaps going to try and go after another low hit point Mortar Team and able to blink away down to 175 hit points and teleporting back as well. All right, Warden could be in a little bit of trouble here. 79 supply compared to 80. Hero levels are fairly close. Getting that Paladin to level 3 with another 400 hit point heal could be exactly what the doctor ordered to try and keep these units alive. But the Warden getting the level 5 will completely shut down these Mortar Teams as they only have 360 hit points. Yeah, having a biological Mortar Team later in the game, or a biological siege unit later in the game, is just absolutely not helpful. They're targetable by Death Coil, Frost Nova, Shadow Strike, Stormbolt. All of those abilities really dealing large amounts of damage to these glass cannon units. And only Human has this one weakness. All the other siege units out there are mechanical. and allowing them to survive a little while longer. All right, coming back around, Archmage, Mountain King continuing to drop down some units here. Thunderclap as the Archmage perhaps looking to try and finish off the Brewmaster. Brewmaster could be in trouble. Scroll of Town Portal now used, and the Thunderclap was not able to finish off the Brewmaster in time as the Warden does get up to level 5. It's 88 supply compared to 74. Moon finally gaining a lead in the overall supply advantage, having 64 supply army going up against 60. Knights are now in position here. You see an army of Ancient of Wars trying to protect this Tree of Life, but the Knights are all here and will be able to quickly take down this Ancient of War now. All right, Bear's trying to move on over. Panda does have a little bit of extra mana. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire could play a very big role here, but remember, Scrolls of Healing were purchased, and I believe still on a Paladin and that Mountain King. All right, that's going to negate a bunch of that damage here as Thunderclap still going down. There's a Breath of Fire there, but the Brewmaster is now in trouble, down to 340 hit points. He needs to try to find a way out, uses another Scroll of Town Portal, these hit and run tactics as a beautiful another Staff of Sanctuary. Sok is just playing a clean game here, saving units constantly. Look at these low hit point Knights who are just not falling. Scroll of Town Portal inbound off to the north side here. There's a potential surround. Archmage going to go ahead and try and Scroll of Town Portal back out. Paladin using that Divine Shield to try and stay alive, and the Tree of Life does end up surviving. That's 7 armor right there, and some repairing, allowing that Tree of Life to still stick around. All right. Meanwhile, back down to the south side here, Staff of Teleportation trying to finish off some of these towers in position once more as the Goblin Shredder now looking to back away, finishing off some of these peasants as well. All right, Panda is still walking around. Arcane Sentry. Meanwhile, off to the north here, more towers are going to get destroyed. Sok is now down to 2 bases. So is Moon after all this time as the Dryads have cleaned up, well, this expansion off to the north. One Ancient Protector still left behind here. Panda, what is it looking to do? Really low on mana, down to 33. Perhaps a more Moonwell juice is going to be needed. The Wellspring upgrade was completed here, but how much time is left during the night? All right, we are about halfway, just a little bit past midnight. There is still plenty of time for these Moonwells to get filled up. As the Panda sits at level 5, going to try and get in some more mana again. Perhaps going to buy a Clarity Potion. No, decides against it. All right. Looking at Sok's army. Sok now up to 96 over 96 supply, sitting on a decent amount of gold and even more lumber here. The Knights are upgraded 3-2 upgrade, so that is going to be some heavy damage in the front line. It may come down to the mortar teams and whether or not they're able to stay alive in the back. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, Shadow Strikes, those are all going to be targeting that backline position and trying to really just blow them over. Meanwhile, the Moon's base over here on the top left only has one Ancient of War left, as now we're going to see a Scroll of Town Portal inbound. Mortar team trying to lob in a bit of damage, and where is that Scroll of Town Portal going to land them? Well, what is going on? There it is, right here. Going to go and engage. There was a blink across all of those units. He does still have Shadow Strike going after these back mortar teams. Scroll of Healing being used. Thunderclap now in that frontline spot. Dryads are getting cleaned up. No fan of knives. Panda needs to get into more Breath of Fires across all of these units. There's a Stormbolt across all of those units. No Breath of Fire. Finally, the Breath of Fire does happen. 97 supply compared to 81. Both sides fighting their way through. Who is winning out on this war here? Panda continuing to try to blow over these units as the mortar teams are splashing down Dryads as well. Thunderclap, Staff of Preservation, Warden down to 200 hit points. Needs to retreat away. Stormbolt onto the Warden, and the Warden is gonna fall. And with that, well, I believe Sok has the advantage. Bears are starting to fall over, and the tipping point has been reached. Mountain King going to finish off another Druid of the Claw there. A beautiful game as the Warden falls, trying to save that Panda. And, well, Panda comes back over, but would not be able to finish the job. A beautiful game, back and forth. Overall, Sok winning in every single category, especially the resource category, out expanding Moon on Twisted Meadows. A beautiful game there, but hats off to Sok's micro as well. His Staff of Sanctuary usage was spot on, saving multiple Knights and Mortar teams and denying experience to those Night Elf heroes. Once the hero level advantage started to tip more and more in favor of human, well, things just started to snowball from there. The denying of the experience was the big factor, as Moon was unable to get to level 5 quickly on that Warden and unable to get to level 6 on both of those heroes unleashing their ultimate abilities. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.